Movies and Martinis celebrates women and diversity in the entertainment world
by ranking trending movies, shows, and books
with two completely different perspectives and ranked by delicious martinis.
Listen to find out how many martinis we felt it was worth.
And learn about the women who have written, performed, and/or directed in everything we have rated.
A new episode is available every Thursday on your favorite podcast platform and YouTube. What's up, everyone? Welcome to our podcast. I'm Priya.
And I'm Mercy. Hey, Priya, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Really good. You staying warm? Cheers, cheers.
Cheers. I guess it's NYC, so.
I know. I'm in Tennessee. It was 23 degrees today. And it was all frost this morning outside. It was cold as hell.
Oh, yeah.
Especially for a Miami girl.
Yeah, that thin blood.
Yeah.
Well, talking about Miami girl.
Yes. Wait, before you go any further, even before you say the name, spoiler alert, because it just came out and we totally watched it and binged it. So, all right, go. I have to throw that spoiler alert.
Today's episode is about Griselda on Netflix. It came out January 25th, starring Sofia Vergara. I was about to mess up her last name. And there's like so much controversy about the movie right now. There's a lot of things happening behind the scenes, but that ish was good. It was good. So I'm going to give you a summary real quick because Mercy took a lot of notes, guys. So.
I did, you guys.
All right. So Griselda is about fleeing from Medellin, which is
Medellin. Yes. Medellin.
Colombia.
I never get to correct anything because I always suck at English. So now I get to correct something.
To Miami, Griselda Blanco creates one of the most ruthless cartels in history. And guys, this is a real life story. There's a whole documentary on this. And she is a bad bee. Like, okay, get it, Mercy.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So I'm super interested in this, and I took a lot of notes for two reasons. The first reason, I was in frickin' Miami when all this was going down. So I was there. I was living there while this was happening. And number two was that my husband was a police officer. He retired, but was a police officer during that period of time. So he happened to be there and know a lot of the people. And then as a coincidence, a lot of the CENTAC, I don't know if you recall, there's a unit that's put together to control this cocaine cartel that's taken over Miami.
Yes.
So they call it CENTAC because it kind of unites the Metro-Dade Police Department, which is what they were called at the time. Now they're Miami-Dade, but they were Metro at the time, and the FBI. So they create this whole agency. So those officers that were there were the ones that were later on with us, Priya, driving the bus when we went to the first Edge HPOA toy drive.
Wait, that was the CENTAC department?
Those were the people, those were the lead detectives that are actually in the movie.
No.
In the show. Yes, they use their real names and everything.
No.
Yes, yeah. So remember the driver of the big bus that we used to go, that the kids used to come in through one side and go out the other? The driver was one of them. The guy that used to dress up as Santa Claus before our Kevin started dressing up as Santa Claus was another one. So there were several of them.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Wait. Who edited this podcast episode? It's getting so good. So good that I need to give a shout out to our sponsor, Blue Box Media, an NYC-based video production firm. Blue Box Media makes our movies and martinis dreams come true every Thursday by editing every episode. Check them out at blueboxllc.com. And okay, let's get back to those martinis. So guys, Mercy and I used to have a charity together, and we had huge toy drives in Miami.
For 14 years in Miami.
Oh crap!
Yeah,
that is
all
so
ties
crazy.
In. Yeah, it is crazy. Anyway, so let me tell you a little bit about Griselda. So, I love that the documentary came out, the show came out, because it showcased what she did. I hate that they romanticized something that was really disgusting. So you kind of, I feel like Sofia Vergara put Griselda like on a platform, like she was this badass woman that, you know, fought men and found her way. But the reality was this: she was called the Black Widow, was her first nickname, okay? Because she actually had her 3 husbands assassinated, all 3 of them. And so her second husband, which was the father of her 3 boys, the way that the show portrays it, he has her have sex with the brother. And so she's devastated and whatever. So she shoots him in a moment of passion, right? Or crime of passion, if that's what they're trying to make it seem like. It wasn't that. Griselda and her husband had been dealing coke from where they were at in Colombia with New York City for over 10 years. And one of the deals went sour. And she was so upset she had him assassinated and then took off with her 3 kids.
Oh.
So that's one of the things.
Yeah.
Then her first one had also died. He had been murdered. And then she puts a hit from jail on her 3rd husband. So
the father of the last living child
of Michael. Yes, of Michael. Right. So she puts a hit on him to get Michael back with the siblings so she can have her 4 kids together.
Now, before you continue, I agree with you with the romanticizing, because the whole time I'm like, you're making it seem like you want to like Griselda.
Yes.
Because she's a mom, she's a strong woman.
Right. And she's doing it for her kids.
Yeah, like you want to, and it's Sofia playing her on top of it. So you want to like her, you know?
Right.
Yeah, so I agree.
Yeah. So that was a real big thing. They also make it seem like she committed, you know, X amount of murders. Like there were, so there were a couple here and a couple there.
Yeah.
But the reality was that they feel that she murdered approximately 250 people in her lifespan. That's a lot of people, including kids and infants and all kinds of people.
It wasn't that one child that we saw on the show.
No, so they romanticize it like, okay, well, they let the infant live and she felt terrible that the little boy was killed. But no, it wasn't like that at all. So she also, I thought was very interesting. So let me start from the beginning. So she, for 10 years, ran her own cartel thing, her own drug trafficking from Colombia to New York City, then had her husband assassinated and ended up in Miami. She was in Miami running the coke world and putting everybody else out of business from the 1970s until the early 2000s. So, and then she ended up in jail until 2012. And when she was coming out of jail back in 2012 is when her 3 sons were all killed. They were all murdered in Colombia. And that was like a message to her. And that was that family. They believed that was that family where they thought that she killed their lover. Remember the one that ODs?
Yeah.
Which she didn't, but then they kind of leave her in the hot tub. So they're like devastated. That's who they were. They go to California to find her, but she turns herself in. So this is how they get back to her after it. They killed the 3 kids right when she's coming out.
Yeah.
So I want to throw those little things in there. I also heard that if you really want to know more about her true story, that you should watch the movie that was made years back by Catherine Zeta-Jones, because that was more accurate than this.
So I never saw that one. I never heard
either.
about it. I saw the documentary. Wade and I, when we lived in Miami, we binged the documentary, and that was good.
Yeah.
The documentary was
good.
And
so she also, another thing there, she also, so Pablo Escobar, you see that this show starts
They didn't mention him. They didn't mention him.
Yeah, they mentioned him.
I don't remember his name coming up in the story. Yeah,
they mentioned him.
I don't remember.
So the show, right when the show starts, there's like a quote that comes up, which is, "The only man I was ever afraid of was a woman named Griselda Blanco."
Yeah, so I saw that, but I didn't see him.
Pablo Escobar.
I thought they were talking about it more. And I didn't see it.
Yeah. So through her life and through his life, Escobar's life, through both of their lives, they were rivals and lovers.
Oh.
Yes. And so they ended up buried in the same exact town, which I thought was also really weird.
They were lovers?
They were lovers, back and forth.
So guys, Sofia does not look like her. Like,
No.
she put on
So,
prosthetic or whatever on her face.
yeah,
but
and not enough.
Not
Not enough, especially towards the later years. Because if you look at pictures of Griselda when she was young, she was drop dead gorgeous. She was
Okay.
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
A very young Griselda before she even had the 3 kids.
Yeah.
So she was, I could see, because remember, she was a prostitute. And that's how she knew the group of girls that she had first trafficking in all the coke.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you could see why in the beginning she was that woman.
But her picture of older Griselda.
Yeah.
She's not.
Yeah, there's no way Sofia was gonna get there. And then of course she had Uber, Dixon, and Ozzy, which were her kids, all 3 murdered in 2012, right as she was coming out.
Yeah.
But her youngest son, which is Michael was named Michael Corleone, which is a way of her paying homage to The Godfather, which was her favorite movie. So she named her son after that.
Because she was called the godmother in the show.
So, right. Yeah. So she was called the Black Widow. She was called the godmother of cocaine. And she was also called the Cocaine Queen of Miami. Those were her 3 nicknames that she went under. And she was linked, arm to arm with the Medellin cartel a lifetime. Oh. So if you really want to know more of a not romanticized story, not a woman story, but a reality story.
Yeah.
Then the Miami Cowboys or Cocaine Cowboys. That
documentary,
that really shows who she really was.
Yeah, so definitely check that show out.
So check that out if you found this one interesting. That get real information with the Cocaine Cowboy.
Yeah.
And what else did I want to tell you about that? Oh, so her son Michael, which is her only surviving son, it's the youngest one, is actually suing presently. This came out last week. He is suing Sofia Vergara, her production company, which produced the movie, and Netflix for being the platform to put out the movie, because it was his mom's story and his story, et cetera, et cetera.
And he's been trying to sell it for years, like to get it out there.
Yeah. So he wants money for it. It's basically.
And he actually, so I saw that he said that he didn't feel his mom was portrayed the right way, which is funny because of how much it was romanticized.
Right? Like
she made your mom look good.
Yeah. Yeah. Too good. Too good. Yeah. Because, I'll tell you, I was a kid when all this was really happening.
Yeah.
And I really wasn't into what was going on. But after I watched the movie, which was the first one of its kind of, that's not usually my kind of movie, but I like Sofia and I wanted to hear what this was all about and the hype. And I remember hearing about this Griselda, but never knowing much about her other than she was a drug queen.
Yeah.
I wanted to watch it. So when I was watching it, maybe by episode 4, I remember telling my girls, I kind of like this lady. She's a total badass. She's standing up for women. They don't respect her. I get it's drugs, but still, she's like a badass.
Yeah.
And then I start researching. I'm like, this is a monster. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. She's a monster.
Yeah.
And this is bullshit. And they're romanticizing all this shit she did. And there's a lot of victims out there that lost family members and lost all kinds of shit because of her. So it was, Yeah.
So it's like, so going back to the child killings in that part in the movie, I remembered, I'm like, the documentary really outlined how horrible she was killing children to get what she wanted, but the movie really twisted it to make it seem like she felt so guilty. She felt horrible. Yeah. She never wanted to do it again until she did it again.
It's total bullshit. She didn't care. And I hated that she kept saying that she was doing it for her family, that she was doing it for the kids. And she kept telling the kids, I'm doing it for you. Right? So bullshit. She was doing it for her own ego. She wasn't doing it for them. She had so many outs. So many times that she could have walked away with her kids and the money and had a normal life, and she never took that.
Yeah.
So that kind of bothered me too. And then I found interesting how her whole life started twisting when she started with crack.
Yes.
Because then she started hallucinating, and then she was so messed up. And she was also at a point in her life where you can't even trust your own shadow, because you've just done so much shit. You're so deep in that you can't trust anybody. You know, you wonder if you trust yourself at this point, because she's just losing it. So I thought, you know, that was it showcases again the effects of drugs on you.
Well, there's this old like hood saying, like, you don't do your own stuff. Like if you're selling, you don't do your own stuff, which she completely broke that rule. I wanted to bring up Rivy, her guy Rivy, who was her, he's still alive. He's like 60 something.
Yeah.
And I think he's still in jail. But like I was looking at comparing the actor who played him and his real life picture. That's sort of like what he looked like way back when. Now he has like no hair and he's gray.
Yeah. He was skinny, scraggly looking. Yeah. And she ended up dying at 69. So I also hated that they didn't show her.
Yeah.
Right.
She was sitting on the beach. She was sitting on the beach looking at her, you know, thinking about her children, you know.
Yeah. So in reality, when she gets out of jail, finds out that her 3 kids have been killed or murdered, she's heading to Medellin to make it to Michael, the one that still survived the state with the grandmother, which she ruthlessly had the guy assassinated in front of the mother when they took the kid. Remember?
Yeah. Which is like.
So, I didn't realize who had done it. It was her. She put the hit to get the kid back.
Yeah.
So anyhow, she ends up going back there, and she's at a cafe when they do a drive-by. They were already waiting for her. They kill her.
Yeah.
So she never really got there. But yeah, she was 69 years old, and she was horrible. She was a monster.
So how many martinis would you give it? I mean, we did binge it.
Yeah, we binged it. I think it kept our attention. I think the acting was excellent. You know, it was good. If I'm torn because of the things that are just not accurate about it. And I hate that she romanticized and used like the female power thing with Griselda. I don't like that she did that, because Griselda was, you know, 250 bodies lay on her. Yeah. And, you know, that's anybody's son, wife, child, mother, whatever, because she didn't care, you know, she didn't care about ages or sexes. She just killed to kill, just anything that got in her way. So I think because of that, I'd have to give it less martinis than I would give it. I want to say I would give it 5 because I really binged it. I couldn't stop watching it. It was great. Yeah. But then because of what she did, what Sofia did with this story, I'm going to take away from it, and I'm going to say I'll give it 3.5 stars. Okay. So that makes sense. That's where I'm going to go with it. So cinematically, it was done really well. The story was done really well. I mean, although it's not completely. It keeps you engaged from the minute it starts till it ends. I'll give you 100% that. Yeah. So I would give it a 4 overall for entertainment value. A 4. I was entertained. I mean, the story, obviously, you lived in Miami when it happened, so there's a little bit of a closer connection for you. Not for me. And I do love that so much of the storyline was accurate when it comes to the detectives, the police officers, like all those police officers, the female lead detective, all of them are real. They were good to keep their name. They portrayed Miami for what Miami was and how Miami looked. The Marielitos that came in from Cuba, that was also accurate. So it was very accurate in all her points. It's just, I still feel that she romanticized her. So maybe she just gave it a Hollywood twist. Definitely. You know, So for the cinematic part of it, as you say, and for engagement purposes, I'd give it 5 martinis because I just couldn't stop watching it. She brought awareness back to her. So that was good too. But yeah, so you know what? I'm going to take back my 3.5 and I'm going to stick with you. I'm going to give it a 4 because I think it's unfair to give her 3.5 considering I couldn't stop watching. Okay, so 4. We'll meet in the middle. So we're going to say 4. All right, guys. Well, if you haven't watched Griselda yet, you definitely need to watch it. Look up
Cocaine Cowboys, so you can get the documentary.
Yes.
Catherine Zeta-Jones's version of the movie, definitely watch that, so you can get the full picture of Griselda and her family and all the crazy crap that she did.
And please let us know how you feel about it.
Yes.
How we did with this and what you found out.
Yep. So make sure you like, share, follow. Tune in next week for another episode of Movies and Martinis.
That sounds wonderful. Have a great one, everybody. Bye.
Bye.